Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you're working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I'm going to be working on my kit Blue from Bella Art, so let me zoom in to where I'm going to be working, and I will be right back. All right, let me get started here. I've got my timer, I've got my drills, I've got my notes, although I probably won't stick to them as usual. So let me jump into today's WIP and Chat with my life update. Okay, I was running a fan because it was a little stuffy up here, but then I decided it probably wasn't worth the headache it was going to be to try and edit out all the background noise, so it helped a little bit, the little bit that I was running it. It's not very hot today. In fact, it looks like it's going to rain. My head says that it's going to rain because I'm getting a migraine, but it was super windy yesterday, so I'm not surprised that it's going to rain today, but hubby and I went out for a drive and it was nice and sunny, and then all of a sudden it started getting really cloudy, and I'm like, I bet it's going to rain. And by the time we got home, it was super overcast, and now it's getting dark. Like it's usually during the summer. It's been light around here during the summer until 9:30. It's not anywhere near that late, and it already looks really dark outside. I'm also later filming this than usual, but that's okay. Sometimes the day just gets away from me. Hubby and I have been going out and exploring kind of the surrounding areas just so he can kind of show me everything. And I was just thinking today we drove by this one place and it was kind of a open area so you could see all the way down to the water. Not where we are, in a different city, but and there was just on the other side of the water so many trees. I'm not used to seeing so many trees. Where I'm from, the only trees are in rows on the edges of farms, and they were slowly disappearing. Not a ton of room for trees when you live someplace it's mostly farms. Although we did drive someplace today that there was somebody actually growing corn, so there was a cornfield we drove by, which was a little weird to see this cornfield and then right next to it all these giant trees. Our neighbors had somebody out trimming one of their trees because they had a branch break off in the windstorm yesterday, day before yesterday, whenever it was, and it fell on our other neighbor's property, so they had to have somebody come out and chainsaw it all apart and pick it up. Now there's like a big gap in their tree, which looks funny. At least it didn't fall on our property. It just fell on the guy's fence, so and it was not a tall fence or anything, so I don't think it's going to be a big, huge deal for him to fix it, but probably wouldn't been a big deal for ours either. Just a chain link fence on our side, but still hassle to get stuff like that fixed. So hubby did make a couple of calls earlier this week about getting extra insulation blown into our attic, and then we're trying to see if we can spray foam underneath the extension that the previous owners added on. I don't know if there's going to be enough clearance underneath it for the spray foam like we want to do. They're going to come out and inspect it. So, but the electrician that we called about the electric panel we want to upgrade happened to be in town the day that hubby called, so he came over that day, just like a couple hours later, and gave hubby an estimate. So now we know approximately how much it will cost if we decide to do that. And it actually is going to be, well, less than I thought, but also more because hubby found some other things that he wanted to do. And it includes adding on some amperage to the shed so we could have enough electricity out there to run things. I don't think we'd be able to run a washer and dryer, but I think it would be enough to basically run a refrigerator and all that stuff. Okay, I thought that was like a random drill just sticking there, but no, it does actually go there. Hubby's also been taking care of just some routine stuff that he needed to get done. So, for example, he needed new tires on his car, the one that we hauled the trailer here with. They were getting kind of worn, so he found some on sale, him and his sales. I guess it's a size that not a lot of people use, so it's not a very common size, which is probably why they were on sale. I know somebody ordered them and then decided against them or something, but they fit his car, so he went in and got them, and now we're all set. He thought we were going to have to buy summer and winter tires because when he lived here before, they had to, but it's not a requirement anymore, so he just got some all-season tires, and that should be fine. That's what's on our other car, and it was fine during the winter last winter, so we should be good to go with tires now. Of course, he saved money on it, so he was super happy. Then the other day, something we weren't expecting to fix, but ended up having to, we were sitting in the living room watching TV, and all of a sudden we look out and there's water on the kitchen floor. And we go out and look, the heat pump in the kitchen started leaking. Hubby didn't know if it was because the drain lines were plugged, if something was broken. We've been running the heat pumps on the dehumidify setting because it's just been so muggy and humid over the last, well, probably month or so, if I think about it. So we didn't know if it was because of that, because we hadn't had any issues at all with them, but we really weren't running them a ton either. So we're like, okay, well, let's turn them on. And I'm like, well, we can turn them on, but I don't want to run them all day, every day. Like, it gets really hot up here where our bedroom is, but I still don't want to run the heat pump all day, every day, because we're not up here. So we just turn it on a couple hours before we go to bed, and then it's fine for sleeping. We get up in the morning and then we turn it off when we remember. I realized today when I came up, I usually get up before my husband. I didn't today. I got up after, and I was going to come up here and make the bed and turn the heat pump off and all that kind of stuff, and I just completely spaced it out. But we had been running it a lot more and keeping it pretty cool in the house, and I was worried about what our electric bill was going to be, or our hydro bill, as everyone around here says. Hubby got a notice that our bill, he got it via email, and I was dreading it. I was expecting it to be like 500, 600 or more. It was only $150, and it was for most of July, which is when it's been the hottest. So I was super happy because I was afraid that we had been running it way too much, so our bill was going to be really big. And now that I know that it wasn't, we can run it more if we want to. I don't really want to run it a bit more. I mean, I'd love to keep our bill right around there. And really, we've been mostly comfortable. We have a couple of fans that we run. My son has one he runs in his room constantly, but we have a big tower fan up here so we can circulate the air. But we also have a way to close off our bedroom section so that if we want to keep all the cool in the bedroom, we can do that too. And then we have a smaller fan downstairs that helps to draw the cold air from the kitchen into the rest of the house. I was actually just watching a video the other day on how people survived before air conditioning was invented. So, houses were constructed differently. Everybody had really tall ceilings so that the heat could rise. Everybody had windows on all sides of the house so you could open the windows and get a cross breeze on days when it was hot. Of course, when electric fans came out, if you had electricity, you could have an electric fan. Not everybody had those. And then it was talking about people having like sleeping porches. You could sleep outside the house at night when it was cooler, mostly screened in porches so you weren't getting eaten alive by bugs at night. I've never lived down in the South where it gets really hot and humid. Ours has always been more of a dry heat. Although I do seem to have a little bit more trouble with my allergies and such. I had asthma when I was a kid, which I grew out of, but they had told my mom that it would probably be good for us to move someplace like Arizona where it was drier air. That would be better for me. Glad that's not an option my parents took. Although I suppose if we'd moved when I was little, I wouldn't have known anything different. But even as hot as Kansas gets, it does not get Phoenix hot, I don't think. Although Kansas doesn't always necessarily get as hot as it used to either. Right now it's hot. I think my son was telling me when we went on a walk last week that it was going to be basically 90s and a couple of 100+ days this week. My oldest assures me she's staying cool because I sent her a text and said, "Are you staying cool?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm inside." So that's one way to do it. But you still got to pay for the electricity to cool it. So, and her apartment is an older one, so I'm sure it's not the most efficient it could be. But as long as she's staying cool, it's all good. I hope all of you, anybody who's someplace hot, hope you're staying cool. It's usually cooler here where we are just because we're so close to the water, so we get the water cools the air as it blows in. So I notice it when it's cooler. I don't always notice the smell of it though. I was just telling hubby the other day, we went to go get groceries and we were coming home and I was like, wow, you can really sell the sea air, that kind of salty, fishy smell. Because it doesn't always smell like that. Usually it's, I don't know, it just smells like air. I don't notice a salty, fishy smell. But it certainly was kind of fishy the other day. He was actually watching that day that it was so windy this week. He was watching it and saying that it almost looked like a nor'easter was coming in because there were so many white caps and the water was so choppy. He's like, we should go look and see if any lobsters have washed up on shore, because I guess after there's a big storm or a lot of wind like that, a lot of the lobsters will get blown in by the water. And I guess if they're just laying on the beach, they're fair game. You can collect them. So a lot of people hang out and wait for something like that. There's a lot of people selling clams too. I told my husband I need to go down like early in the morning and watch somebody actually collect it, because we'll drive by and there'll be somebody selling fresh clams out of the back of their van or something. I've seen people selling fiddleheads and potatoes and clams. And then we were driving on the highway and there's all these people stopped on the side of the highway. Cars pulled over and then they're like in the ditch on the side of the highway. And I said, what are they doing? Oh, they're picking strawberries. I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of wild strawberries that grow around here. So a lot of people will go around and pick them and then they'll take them home and eat them or make something out of them or whatever. And I was like, okay, that just seems so strange to me. Not strange that people would be picking strawberries, but strange that somebody wouldn't come along and mow them down so nobody could have them for free. You know what I mean? But a couple of days that I saw people doing it, it was super hot. So if they want to get out there and sweat while they pick some strawberries, more power to them. I don't like strawberries, so I'm a very picky eater. I like some fruit, but not very much. And I don't like cooked fruit at all. I can't stand the texture of cooked fruit. Ugh. Okay, so that was a lot of tangents. Oh, I don't think I finished my story about the heat pump. So hubby managed to fix them. He watched a ton of YouTube videos and figured out how to blow out the lines because he thought they were plugged. And they seem to be running a lot better now. And we haven't had any more leaks, so fingers crossed that that's all fixed. He's toyed with the idea of getting some newer models that would be probably more efficient, but these aren't actually that old. I think the people that we bought the house from, they're just 3 or 4 years old. So I don't think it makes sense for what we would get for a return on our money. I don't think it makes sense to buy new ones right now. Right now it seems to be driveway repair season. Everybody is getting either new asphalt sprayed onto their driveways or new gravel put down. Even some of the large businesses in town have had like their complete parking lots ripped up and put new ones in. I mean, obviously it needs repaired, but it just seems like everybody's doing it all at once. Although I suppose here you have to do it when the weather is good, right? During the summer when everything's not covered with snow. So I think that's it for my regular life. I finished this section, so let me move on to this section, which means I need to reorganize some stuff so you guys can see everything. So don't go anywhere. One last thing for my life update. I told you guys I was going to be looking into volunteering for a literacy group here. I had a meeting with them. Everybody was really nice. I have kind of been putting stuff on the back burner because they're kind of on hiatus basically for the summer. But I have to do like these training modules. I forget how many of them there are, but basically it's just like an online PowerPoint presentation that I have to watch because those are oh so riveting. Isn't everybody just waiting to watch a PowerPoint? But I get it. I mean, it's a fast way, an easy way to disseminate all the information, and people can do it at their own pace, their own time, in their own homes without having to go somewhere to do the training or whatever. Even when I was still doing continuing education for the preschool, I could do a lot of it online, which I appreciated because having to drive somewhere and spend giant, 4, 6, 8 hour stretch, depending on the classwork, was not how I wanted to spend my weekends. Anyway, so these I could do online. I've only done one. The first one, they throw a bunch of statistics at you, literacy statistics and how they measure them and what they're measured against and all this kind of stuff. And it was just numbers after numbers after numbers. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to remember all this. I hope these are not on the quiz. Because if they are, I'm not going to pass. Luckily, it was just multiple choice and none of them were terribly difficult. So hopefully the rest of them will go as smoothly. I think I have 10 or 12, something like that, I have to complete before I could be a full-fledged volunteer, which was not my original intention when joining, but it's one of those, lots of charities and organizations like that never have enough people, so it's always a game of what else can I talk you into doing? But they don't do any fundraising, which I was glad of because I was like, that's one of the things I am not good at. I don't enjoy it. I know it has to be done, but not something I want to spend my time doing. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to tell you for my regular life. I'll probably throw something else in there if I think of it, but for right now, I think that's it. So let's move on to my diamond painting life. What's going on in my diamond painting life? Not a ton, just working away. If you saw yesterday's video, then you know where I'm at. If you didn't see it, go check it out. I finished my customized bookshelf kit, and I think it turned out pretty well. There's a couple of little small things that I wish I had done differently, but for just kind of winging it, basically. I mean, I did a little bit of pre-planning before I started laying down drills, but I didn't end up getting graph paper, tracing out the grid or anything. I basically was just like marking hatches on a piece of paper and trying to figure out how I wanted the letters to work and everything, but I'm happy with how it turned out. Like I said, there's a couple of little niggly things, but other than that, I'm really happy with it. Finishing that kit met several of my goals, so I'm now done with my Spangler for the third quarter, so I can concentrate on the last one for the fourth quarter, which means I've got some breathing room now because last quarter I didn't even really start the Spangler until June. I'd worked on it a little bit here and there on a couple of whip and chats, but no real work had been done on it. Now that CFL season has started and hubby's watching games, I can sit there while he's watching the game and diamond paint and I listen. Some of the games lately have been kind of painful to watch. Some of the teams he likes are not doing as well as he wants them to, and of course, as always, my youngest is still counting down until the NFL season starts. Every time he sees us watching one of the CFL games, he'll tell me how many weeks it is till the NFL starts. Hubby and I are actually talking about moving some things around too. I guess maybe this could have gone under my personal life, but it also involves diamond painting because I told you guys we moved all of my diamond painting stuff up here. My adjustable table is upstairs. Kind of moved around my setup downstairs. We had a desk, but I didn't like it. So now I've been working on like a portable folding table, which is smaller than the desk, but actually has worked out better. So I'm happy with that. But then after being here for a little bit, I told hubby, I don't like being up here all the time. My computer is up here. My diamond painting stuff is up here, most of it. So I spend quite a bit of time up here, but everybody else is downstairs, and I don't like feeling like I've been exiled to the second floor or whatever. I mean, I can still hear them and that kind of thing. So hubby and I were talking about it, and I was like, well, what if we moved your desk up here so when we're both on the computer, we're both in the same room, because I don't spend a ton of time on my computer and neither does he. If we did that, we'd probably spend more time together just because, like I said, we don't spend a ton of time on our computer. So when I needed to do bills or something, he can be up here messing around on his computer, keeping me company. And then we were talking about moving my adjustable desk, which is the one I'm filming on, downstairs into the sunroom because I'm having a lot of trouble filming in here. I can't get my lights adjusted the way that I wanted. The floor slopes in here. It's a little more even downstairs, and I just think it would be a better place for me to film than where I'm currently set up at. And if we move his desk out of the way, there's plenty of room for me to set up all the diamond painting stuff down there. It would actually give me kind of a third place to work if I wanted to. So maybe later this week we'll end up moving stuff around so that I can spend more time but still be around the rest of the family while I'm diamond painting and have a little bit more room because like that little baker kit that I unboxed that is going to be my next big project, there's no way it's fitting on either the desk or the small table I'm currently using. I do have like a pool noodle attached to it so I could lay over some of the big ones or whatever, but that one is so big. I feel like I just need this whole space. I mean, the whole reason I got this table the size that I did was so that I could do it like that. Just haven't figured out the best way to kind of configure the house to make it work for me the way I want. We haven't been here that long, so if I need to move some things around, it's not that big of a deal. When we were setting things up, I was, telling him that this isn't where things are necessarily going to stay. This is just where we're putting them for now because I really did want to take the time to kind of live here for a while and see how things work. I mean, we put in things like the couch and the TV and stuff like that that we were kind of gotta have this. And for some of that stuff, there's really only one way for it to go. But for some of this other stuff, we do have the flexibility to move it around. So that's probably what we're going to do. And then we'll see how that works. And if I don't like it, we can always move it a different direction again, or I can move it back to the way it is now. If nothing else, we'll have fun moving furniture around, right? So that was kind of a tangent again. Sorry, I apologize for that. So I finished the customized bookshelf, getting back to diamond painting life. Now I'm working on this one, which is Blue by Bella Art, and I'm going to be working on Little Baker. I do need to unbox and kit up and get ready for the Diamond Paint Along in August, because that is sneaking up on me. That's going to be here in just a few weeks before I know it. I know what kit I'm going to do. I've already got it picked out. I just need to unbox it and get it kitted up. I need to kit up the Little Baker kit as well. That one is probably going to take a while just because there's so many colors. Speaking of which, I had so many of you tell me in that video that Diamond Art Club has actually been doing more and more colors in their kits, which I think is good. I don't mind confetti, and I always feel like the more colors you have, the truer it looks to the original image. That's my feeling anyway. So I don't mind having the additional colors. But I thought the Forever Young kit with 60 trays was going to be enough for most kits. It doesn't sound like that's going to be true necessarily going forward. So I might have to think about getting, if I like it enough, another set of those or something else if I'm going to be kitting up 100 plus colors when I do a kit. I think somebody told me so far the record for Diamond Art Club is 99 colors, but that's a lot. I mean, 90 colors is a lot, so the Little Baker kit had, what did I say, 84 or something like that? 80 something. And I mean, it's a big kit, so not a surprise that it has a lot of colors in it, but I just wasn't expecting quite that many. But happy to know that Diamond Art Club is putting more colors into it. So I'm looking forward to August and seeing what everybody's going to do for the floral themed Diamond Paint Along. So just a reminder, it's not, I mean, it's an event, but there's no prizes, there's no rules, no finish picks required, no new starts required, no requirements other than follow the theme. So something floral. Does it have a flower in it? Then it counts. And then you can share all your amazing progress pics and updates and everything in the Facebook group, which is what everybody has been doing. And it's been really awesome seeing everybody's progress pics. I really need to get better about posting progress pics in there myself, but I was really concentrating hard on trying to get the customized bookshelf finished because it was such a large kit. Then of course I opened another one that's even bigger. That's okay. They're all going to get done eventually, right? So I'm looking forward to my last Spangler kit, not because it's the last one, but just because they're so cute. The dragons are always really confetti heavy, but the image itself is always so cute. So looking forward to working on the last one of my Spanglers for the last quarter of the year. And I've actually seen somebody else working on it and it's turning out super cute. So can't wait to see how that one goes. So that'll take care of one of my goals. So I know I'm going to meet that goal. I haven't sorted my stash yet. I had a lot of questions and you guys had a lot of good suggestions when I was talking about my stash update that I did a couple weeks ago. I have a spreadsheet where I keep track of my stash with all of the pertinent details. I also have my logbook, which has some of the same details, but then some that I don't keep on the spreadsheet. Basically, the spreadsheet is dates that I bought things, the name of the kit, where I bought it from, how big it is, whether it's round or square, and then the size. Well, I said how big it is, and then how much I paid for it. So I could, just by reorganizing my Excel spreadsheet, resorting it or whatever, figure out which kits are the largest and all of that. I just never have bothered to do it. Somebody was saying, you know, to keep things on the computer rather than physically sorting through all of my boxes. Sometimes just physically moving them helps my brain, but I do have a spreadsheet with all the info on there, so I can do it via computer if I want to, with just a couple of clicks to kind of see what I've got and where I'm at. Not all of them have all of the info on there. I know I have a couple of kits where I don't know for sure whether they're round or square because it didn't matter to me when I bought it. I just like the image and it doesn't say on the kit and I haven't opened it up to look and see. So I do need to do that, but that's just a couple of kits. I want to see how many round versus square and then do the square centimeter thing for size. I don't think I'm going to change my goal mid-year because my stash count was about getting my stash count down. I could change it over to square centimeters if I wanted to. I don't know. I'm still undecided. I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it at number of kits for this year just for continuity, and then next year I can use the square centimeters to track. And of course, I may change my mind about how I want to track it 16 times before I actually do anything. It is something I want to update my logbook for, though, so that it's a little easier to track in the actual physical logbook. I do track everything on my spreadsheet as well, but again, it's not one-to-one. Everything that's on the logbook is not in the spreadsheet and vice versa. So, and I realized that I messed up when I was doing my diamond painting goals update. Somebody had a question about didn't I buy any tools or anything, and I was like, oh, I didn't think I did. Did I miss something? Yeah, I missed something. I bought my Forever Young tray set in June, so I should have included that in my budget numbers for June, which I did not. So I will have to update all of that and then report. So my numbers are going to jump around a little bit when I do the update for July because I did them wrong for last month, which is not a big deal. Nobody's really tracking anything but me anyway. This is not like any of you, I mean, you guys care, but it's not going to be a big deal to anyone that I messed up the numbers, or probably a big surprise. As I have said many times, numbers and I are not always the best of friends. I much prefer words to numbers. That's why I read. It's so funny, too. I asked when I finished the customized bookshelf what authors other people might have put on there. I had so many people tell me Stephen King. You guys, I like watching true crime shows, but I am not a horror genre reader. The Stephen King books that I like are not really horror novels necessarily. One of my favorites is Firestarter, which I saw the movie before I read the book, but both were good. I enjoyed both of those. Absolutely love his, I don't know if it's not really a full-length novel, it's a novella, I guess. The Green Mile. Again, absolutely loved the movie and then went and read the book, which is not usually how I do things. Usually I read the book first and then I'll go see the movie and then I'll be mad because the movie wasn't anything like the book. I have seen parts of Christine. My mother was a huge Stephen King fan. I think she read every single thing he ever wrote. I am not into that stuff. Christine, nope. Misery, nope. It, all of those, nope. Not gonna watch, not gonna read. And I just missed a bunch of number ones that I should have done right there. Oh well. See, I get busy talking, and then I'm like, oh, I missed this, and I missed that. It wouldn't matter if I wasn't talking, even when I'm not talking. My brain's just going 90 million miles an hour, and even if I stop and go, okay, I'm going to look at this. Did I miss any? Nope, I'm good. And then 2 seconds later, after I've gotten out the next color, well, shoot, there's 4 of them right there. How did I miss those? I was going to do all the ABs and stuff before I started everything because that's typically how I do it. But then I was like, no, I should do some of these that there's more of them so that I'm doing a big section. So it feels like I'm making progress instead of just diamond painting this little bitty piece. So I started at the bottom on this one. I almost always start my paintings at the bottom. I can't think of the last time I started one at the top, which I know is how a lot of people work, but just it makes more sense to my brain to do it this way. But I'm fully aware that the way that I prefer to work is not how a lot of people prefer to do it. That's okay. Being different is good. If we were all the same, life would be boring. Okay, so this piece over here is part of her shirt and her arm. And this part is her dress, and there's like a little curl of her hair coming up right here. Stopping to look at the picture just to kind of get in my mind. Sometimes when your nose is 2 inches from the canvas, it's kind of hard to tell what part of the painting you're actually working on. Is there anything else I wanted to tell you about my diamond painting life? Oh, I finally got an update. I got an email that Diamond Art Club had their rainbow trays back in stock because I had been going to buy them. I actually just saw somebody review them not too long ago. And I guess, I don't know why I didn't realize this, but the rainbow pastel trays are exactly the same size and everything. They're the exact same tray, just different colors as the tray that comes in their newer kits with the newer toolkit. And I thought, well, why would I buy those then? Because I've already tried the ones in the new toolkit and they're not for me. The walls aren't tall enough for my comfort. And I think the set of them all being kind of the pastel rainbow colors is really cute. But as far as actual usefulness to me, I don't think I would get a lot of usefulness out of them. I guess that's one of the benefits of having done this for a while is that I've done this enough that I'm like, is this something I'm really gonna use. Sometimes the gimmicks get me. I like to think I'm past a lot of the, oh, this is going to be the next must-have tool in diamond painting or whatever. But some of it just seems really gimmicky. Not as bad as the pen that makes it look like it dispenses drills, but just looking at it going, I'm really comfortable with the way I'm working now. Is this going to be worth A, spending the money, and B, breaking the flow of how I work to see if I like this newfangled thing? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I hopefully will be posting something in the Facebook group, probably, well, before the end of July. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'm so already late getting it done, but posting something about the August diamond paint along. So anybody that's in the group, if you want to join in the fun, feel free. Like I said, probably here in the next week or so, you guys will see me unboxing the kit that I'm going to do and getting it kitted up so I'm ready to go for August. This year is just flying by. I can't believe it's already over halfway through July. Where has the time gone? It feels like it was just a couple weeks ago that it was just turning to spring, and now here we are getting close to the end of summer. Although it feels a bit different here. My oldest, their last day of school was like second to last week of May. Here they didn't get out of school until almost the end of June. So they've actually only been out for 2 or 3 weeks here, but they go back, what, after Labor Day? So it doesn't feel like a very long summer, which maybe some parents appreciate. I know when my kids are younger, I was ready for them to go back to school, but that was also tinged with, ugh, that means I have to go back to work now. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for me. Okay, I managed to finish this section, which I'm happy about, and I did make a pretty good amount of progress on this one, even if my drills aren't as straight as I want them to be. Well, I can fuss with those later. Anyway, so leave me a comment down below and let me know. I said I wasn't going to buy the pastel set of trays. I've got other trays from them that are exactly the same, so I don't need to buy any more. I'll get one out of most of the kits I have. This is my go-to. I need my walls this tall. What's your go-to tray? This one is from Cat Proof. They're Lean Boy. They have a store. I think they have a website too, but they have a store on Etsy, or at least they did last time I checked. Maybe they just have a website now. I know Bella Art's popular. What's the other one people keep telling me about? Yellow Dog Designs, which is a Canadian company. Yeah, leave me a comment below and let me know. Is there a tray company that's been your go-to? That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.